Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Turtles Love Pizza. This is Steven.
This is Andrew.
And today, as you all know, we have already gone through every single Ninja Turtle movie. Andrew, what are we doing today?
Today we are doing the first issue of The Last Ronin.
And
Everything that
for
we've watched has led to this moment.
yes. And just to let everyone know, The Last Ronin was written by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, Tom Waltz. It was drawn by Isao and Isaac Escorza. So this is going to be kind of exciting. We've never done a comic book, so why don't we get started?
All
Andrew,
right. What's
did you
up?
read this with your mother?
No, I did not read this with my mother. It did not come out around my birthday. I was actually one of the lucky few to get a first print issue of
Oh,
issue number one because they did not anticipate how popular this comic would be, and they ran out of copies of issue number one. And so people were scrambling. People didn't even get their orders when they pre-ordered it. And I thankfully did get my pre-order because I pre-ordered it in the summer when they first announced it, or
mm-hmm.
first announced the pre-order. And so I was one of the lucky few. Also, actually got a bag and board for mine because my local comic shop, for some reason, they're just on delay for getting bags and boards of comics of this size.
Mm-hmm.
So since I had ordered this one online from Midtown Comics, I actually got a bag and board for it.
Oh, you got it from Midtown, huh?
Yeah, for this one.
And so this particular comic, it's a little oversized, right? It's a little larger than normal comics,
Yep.
and this comic is $8.99, and it's actually a beautiful thing to hold. And right on the cover, you have a Ninja Turtle with every single Ninja Turtle weapon, including the sai, the katana, the bow staff. I don't know if I see the nunchucks, but
Yeah,
like
there's
from
like
the
a
get
chain.
go, huh?
There's like a chain.
Oh yeah,
You can
yeah,
kind of see
yeah.
it under the sign and the bow.
I see it. I see it. So, Andrew, from the get go, what did you know about the Last Ronin?
All I knew is there was one last turtle out of the four brothers. There was just one left. So everyone was kind of wondering who the last Ronin would be.
Uh huh.
And everyone kind of knew it'd be a little depressing to see how everyone dies.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of like this story of the last turtle there and I guess getting vengeance for why he's the only one there.
And so, another question: at the get go, who did you think it was?
I thought it was Raph, in all honesty. I thought it was Raphael. Like, out of all four brothers, he seemed like the one that would just be too stubborn to die.
Yeah.
And then, reading some chatter online, people were speculating it was Michelangelo just because he was the first turtle that they ever designed and created.
Was he really?
Yeah. So when Laird was kind of drawing up the Ninja Turtles
Mm-hmm.
with Eastman, the first one he drew was one holding nunchucks. So that was Michelangelo.
Oh, okay,
So it's
okay.
actually appropriate that the last Ronin, when they reveal him, is Michelangelo.
Whoa, spoiler alert, son.
Whatever. If you haven't read this by now, if you don't know what's going on, why are you listening to us?
And like I mentioned, this comic, this beautiful one issue comic, it's $8.99. And at the very back of the issue, it has every single retailer exclusive cover. And there's a crap load of exclusive covers. These things are beautiful. And I wish I got every single one, but yeah, I don't have enough 8.99s in my wallet to pick them up.
They're not all $8.99.
Oh,
I assure you of that.
oh yeah, that's for sure. So I don't know. Did you do any background research on this particular issue?
I did not, other than everything that I just said.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know that much about the background except that this comic story was supposed to be a Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird like final story. Like they came up with this idea like a long time ago. They just never went forward with it. and finally, we have it. Peter Laird is not credited in the script, but he is credited in the story. So, for those of you that don't know, this is kind of like the Dark Knight Returns of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I don't know, I think we should just jump into it. Andrew, why
Yep.
don't you give us a quick plot description?
Quick plot. Man, I can't talk. So for the plot itself, it's our lone Ronin turtle
Mm-hmm.
trying to break in somewhere. We later I find out that it's New York City, and it's set in the future. And his mission is to, it's basically a suicide mission because he just seems like he's tired of being the last brother there. He's haunted by the ghosts of his three other brothers, and
Right?
he's trying to kill the descendant of not Hamato Yoshi, Oroku Saki,
Yep.
and his name is Oroku Hiroto, which is his grandson. It is Kurai's son.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's his mission. He kind of gets in his own way, and part of that, for that reason, he fails in his mission, and he is saved in the end by April O'Neil.
All right. That is a good plot description. What I really like about this is it's action packed. A lot of great art. Like Isao and Isaac Escorza are brilliant. Like, and then they kind of have this hard boiled thing going. You know what I mean? Like very pulpy. The language kind
Yeah.
of feels, yeah, it kind of feels a little Frank Millery. Kind of feels a little. For example, this is on I believe page 4, and it goes a little like this. The water is cold like ice, smells wrong too, tastes worse. I guess after decades of pollution and global warming, it's all kinds of nasty, right? So that whole it's all kinds of nasty. If you look at The Dark Knight Returns, it kind of has that kind of language where these little gangsters are all saying nasty, and they have this really weird slang. So that kind of reminded me of this. On top of that, we're looking at if you look at page 2 and 3, this is like the cityscape, right?
Yep.
And it freaking looks crazy because number one, you can see that all the bridges to New York have been destroyed. And in the main island, you see that there's a huge Japanese influence, and of course, the bad guy, Oroku Saki's grandson, he seems to have built like a Blade Runner esque kind of city.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, it even goes down to like all of the flying cars, like throughout, right?
Yeah, it
So
definitely
like,
has a lot of Blade Runner vibes to it.
yeah, and then throughout, like it's like there's an internal monologue, but at the same time, the Ninja Turtle is talking to someone else, right? Like, what did you think at the first time you read that? Like, he has an internal monologue, but he's like, it feels like he's talking to like the other turtles, right?
And he is talking to the other turtles in his head. And when I first read it, I actually read it with Raph's voice in my head. Like
Oh,
that's the voice that was like projecting in my head. Even when I reread it this week, it was still kind of like slipping in because it's weird that it's Michelangelo, right?
yeah,
It doesn't sound like him. It doesn't sound like his character, and it really reads like it's Raphael.
agreed.
And then even when you're reading the other turtles, it's kind of hard to pick Raphael out of the other turtles.
Yeah, I couldn't really. The only turtle I could pick out is Donatello,
Right.
because he's like he's saying, hey, if we have time, let's like hack into some cables or something in the sewer. But I I don't I can't seem to differentiate the other turtles. Like,
Right. Especially at the end where you kind of see like them all without a mask kind of gathered around him in the
yes,
bed. It's kind of hard to differentiate which turtle's which since they don't have their mask on. There's not a lot of characterization there to kind of say this is Donatello, this is Leo, this is Raph, and obviously you know who's in the bed. Well, at the end, you know who's in the bed.
Yeah. So
And
do you think that might be a little folly, or it doesn't really matter?
I think it was done on purpose just for the reveal at the end.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. And did you have like a favorite part like in
Favorite
the
part
book?
of the
Yeah.
book. I think it's at the end where we kind of reveal that it's Michelangelo,
Mhm.
because like he had like this amazing dream of all the brothers alive, and he's kind of like, "Wow, why are you all here?" And then April's like, "Who are you talking to?"
Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite part?
Okay, so my favorite part starts at I believe it's page 25. Sorry, I just counted the pages. And basically what's going on is Michelangelo, or the last Ronin turtle, Michelangelo, he's fighting the pretty much the foot soldiers. And this is him trying to like break into the tower, and he's getting really really close. And this is a really cool fight scene. You know, he does a flying side kick, he does like a Donnie Yen kick, and it's just super super impressive how they're able to create these fight scenes through art. And like this art or the fight scene, it reminds me of the animated movie. You know, it seems
Yeah,
so seamless. And in a way, what I also like about this comic is it gives Michelangelo a lot of weight, you know?
definitely.
Like he number one, he's huge. He's wearing a lot of crap on him. Like he's wearing a hoodie, he's got pads, and you feel that weight whenever he lands, and whenever and not just that, like on his face, you see lines of age. And on top of that, he is huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they
Like,
explain that in the next issue.
oh, they do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait to read that because this is such a really cool look of him. And then there's like this part where so what's the bad guy's name? Hiroto?
Hiroto, yeah.
Hiroto. So he's created like his own Foot Clan, and I think tell me if I'm wrong or right, but like
Well, he
what
kind of
are
took
they? Are
over.
they androids or people?
He took over the Foot Clan, right? Because
Yeah.
his grandfather was the leader of the Foot Clan. His mother was a leader, and then he becomes leader. So he takes over the Foot Clan. He fights. He has these synthetic ninjas or sinjas.
Yeah.
So they're like part human, part robot.
And it's also crazy because they have freaking Baxter Stockman like oversized mousers.
Yep, it's crazy.
Yeah, they're like flying and everything. And oh, I love the scene when so near the end of this book, I'm gonna show you through the camera, but like you know what I'm talking about. So
Oh yeah,
basically, what's going on is
the most
I,
depressing part of the book.
super depressing. Like Michelangelo pretty much. Wait, Andrew, can you just explain this, like where we are right now, before I get to this scene?
So or the Last Ronin has infiltrated New York. He makes his way up into the lair of Hiroto, and he's
Hmm.
trying to fight his way through up to the top to take out the leader, but he fails. Partially because he decided to try and test out one of the Sinjas first and alerted everyone that he was there. So that's why I was saying earlier that it's kind of his fault that he failed. Because if he had been an
Yeah,
actual ninja and went in all stealth, he would have probably completed his mission. But it ultimately leads him to falling off a building to kind of save his own life, but he's also injured. And so eventually he crawls into the sewer and he thinks he's failed his mission. So he's about to perform an unspeakable act.
he's about to do seppuku, pretty much, suicide by sword, and he's bleeding. But right before he does it, he realizes, you know, not like this. It says not like this, right? And some random girl finds him in the sewer about to perform this, And then the next scene is him reminiscing about his brothers, or waking up to his brothers in a different art style. Actually, this particular artist on page 39 is Ben Bishop, and it's kind of like a throwback to when they were younger, but it is a dream. And then on page 40, he wakes up to the old and grizzled April O'Neil, just like Andrew mentioned before. Okay, so Andrew, what is something that you wish you had seen in this particular issue, though?
I kind of wish that it wasn't so dark.
Really?
Like, I understand the premise of everything and kind of setting
Yeah,
up this world, but it is such a very dark way to start off because you already know the other turtles are dead. You know
yeah.
Splinter's dead, and he's going on this suicide mission. And you do get like this spark of hope at the end when he finds April,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just kind of like this really crazy, crazy dark story. And even him coming up to the point of trying to kill himself. So it is such a dark story. It doesn't really have like the charm and the fun that you usually associate with Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
And that's kind of a common thing that happens throughout this entire series actually.
yeah,
Is it's not really the Ninja Turtles. It's kind of this, really dark take on it where
yeah.
it kind of loses its charm. And sometimes you have a little bit of it when the brothers are kind of voicing themselves within his head,
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't have the same feel. And I think that was obviously done on purpose to kind of make you miss the other turtles and kind of see where his emotional state is at.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that darkness really just kind of pulls you away from Ninja Turtles, but also kind of draws you into this story itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's why it kind of makes you think that it's Raph, right? Because Raph
Right.
is kind of like the more angsty brother, whereas Mike, he isn't that way, which is really weird because his dialogue doesn't really show any of that, pep in his step, right? But at the same time, it makes sense because this is a turtle that has seen all of his brothers die and his father pass away.
Right.
So, and not nicely, we'll find out like in later issues.
And the
But
other thing is like, but you do see elements of Michelangelo where he's kind of fumbling around a little bit. He's not the most graceful. He's not really the most skilled at all
hmm
these different things. Like he can still perform the acts like a ninja because that's how he was trained. But
yeah.
there's still that kind of goofiness of Michelangelo that kind of comes through where he's gonna waste some time on testing out the Sinja instead of like staying focused and going through the mission.
Mm. I see what you mean. Like he still has like a fun loving side to him. Well, not a fun loving side, but maybe an amateur, more of an amateur than like a master.
Right.
And then I thought Hiroto is kind of one note. I hope there's a little more interest, something more interesting to him, because it's been a while since I read issues 2, 3, and 4, and we're gonna get to those. But like, I feel like he's pretty one note at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really done much with him, just kind of setting who he is.
Yeah.
And, obviously, we're going to see all these other characters develop as the comic progresses. Because for now, all you really have is the Last Ronin. That's who's been characterized the most
hmm
throughout this entire. And also, you get a little bit of Jones.
Who's Jones?
Casey
What do you mean? Casey's not in this movie.
movie, it's a comic
I
book.
mean, comic.
Well, later on, you find out that Jones's first name is Casey.
Oh, okay. Well, for those of you that don't know or haven't read this, it's I believe this is a young lady, correct? So we will find out about her more in I think it's issue 2 and 3. She becomes a pretty pivotal.
Well, throughout the entire thing,
Oh yeah.
her role just increases and increases because
So what else is there? Huh?
there are some secrets about her that are revealed later on.
I gotta reread it for sure because I didn't remember a lot of this first issue, And for a first issue, it's just so freaking action packed.
It
Like
is.
there's not a lot of character work, but it's so fun to see him do do something we haven't seen them do, where it's just all out action. Because normally, like you said, the turtles are bickering with each other or having fun with each other, and like it'll be like till the last part of an issue or in the beginning of the issue, and then it's not always 100% action packed. And
Right.
this thing is just like kinetic. It's so kinetic. But yeah, what else is there that you want to talk about?
I think that's it. I mean, it was a great first issue. It really had me interested in reading more of it. It was kind of annoying that it got delayed because
Oh,
initially it was supposed to come out in like August. We didn't get it till like October.
yeah.
I read up that the original artist dropped out because of COVID, like halfway through the project, and that's why they had to get the new artist in and then
Mm.
redraw everything. So that's why it got delayed from August all the way to October.
Hey, real quick, did you see the original artist? You saw it, right?
I saw the
Yeah,
preview that came out. I saw that, and it looked good.
you liked it, right?
Yeah,
It's like a completely different style. That one was very like more cartoonish. This is like very brutish, you know?
right.
I I, I thought it was so interesting how two different artists can interpret a script so differently. Andrew, you know me. I'm more of the Batman, Daredevil, street level, like fighting kind of that's what I like to read. And normally Ninja Turtles, you got four guys. But like you said, it can be very very fun, right?
Right.
Whereas like for Batman and Daredevil, it's not always fun. Sometimes it's overly dramatic for the
Way too dramatic.
yeah, right? So for me, this was actually like I really loved this issue. I loved the art because it reminded me of like the really gritty like comic books I used to read by Frank Miller. And I just think it's awesome, like how he just ended up taking on the responsibility of every single turtle, taking all their weapons. So in a way, he mastered everything his brothers mastered, but he's still the youngest brother. So I'm wondering like what kind of potential will remain in the final issues. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you are the youngest brother in your family, so
Uh,
what do you think's going to happen?
uh he's gonna well I'm spoiled, so so I wouldn't have gotten this far.
You wouldn't have avenged your family. You'd have been like, I'm just kind
Oh,
of looking at
I would
it.
have. I feel like I would hire someone though. do
Wow. You're
do the
not
hard
Batman
work.
at all. You're not Batman at all.
No, man, I'm Alfred. I'll raise Batman.
Just go find a street youth and be like, I'm going to turn you into Batman to avenge my
Yeah.
family.
I know you don't feel the pain, but I'll train you to feel it.
Great job there. Great job there.
But yeah, one of the things you mentioned though, the delays. Hey, do me a favor, Andrew. Look up when the last issue is expected to be released,
Why?
because last I checked, it was supposed to be March, but at this point, I don't know. Like Tom Waltz, the writer, he normally gets on his Twitter, posts a lot of information about like, oh, it's coming, guys, and he always posts like a really cool picture. So for anyone that's following this, you guys should follow the Tom Waltz's Twitter, because he normally has some information there. Other than that, I really like this issue a lot. Like, okay, so Andrew,
Yep.
what would you rate this first issue
Out of what?
out of 5 pizza slices?
Out of 5 pizza slices, this gets a 4 pizza slice.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go with 4 as well
All right, and just so
because
you
it's
know,
a
February 16th is the release date. So next week for us, but when you guys actually listen to this, who knows when that will be. But hopefully the next time we record for issue 2, we'll have all 5 issues.
yes, and that'll be really fun because then you can read it from the beginning to the end and watch everything transpire. Transpire's a word, right?
Yes, transpire is a word.
I definitely like I would say definitely go out and pick it up. There is blood in it. It on the back cover it is suggested for mature readers. There are some curse words, so don't let your kids read this. It is very violent, but overall I think it's a great issue. And I can't wait for number 5, man. I can't wait to see how this ends, you
Did
know?
you also get the director's cut of issue 1?
I did. I got the one that was signed by Kevin Eastman.
Awesome.
Yeah, you did too, right?
Well, I just got the one that was in the comic shop. It's not signed by Kevin Eastman.
Well,
I'm
I
not
had to.
that fancy,
I
sir.
had to. Yeah, but okay. So did you read the director's cut? Because I didn't open it.
Yeah, I read it. I can't remember the difference though at this
Did it
point. I
have
should have reread it this week too, but I didn't.
Did it have a script or no?
Yeah, it had a lot of extra pages in it.
Oh, okay. Because normally the director's cuts will have like the scripts and then or extra artwork.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra pages. I can't remember off the top of my head what it exactly was in there.
Oh, okay, okay.
But obviously, I read it since mine wasn't signed and special like yours. So
Shut up, man. I I had a buddy who bought me another cover. It's the artist is Peach Momoko.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a really interesting cover, but like these are freaking expensive. I'll tell you, it's not eight
I
ninety
bet they
nine.
are.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
8.99. And hey, Andrew, you got some great news. What did you recently get from your wife? No names, please.
So my wife saw on sale that they had the arcade one-up version of Turtles in Time on sale at Best Buy. So as a early birthday gift, she bought it for me. So we were at home and I heard something at the front door and it sounded really loud and like someone was like struggling or grunting. So I thought someone was going to try to break into the house. So I go to the front door and I see this delivery guy struggling with this giant box. Like
Uh huh.
he's the box is bigger than this guy, and I kind of felt bad for him. And so he just kind of leans it there, and once he leaves, I go out and get it, and it is super heavy. And I realize that it is the arcade cabinet
Uh
from
huh.
Arcade One Up of Turtles in Time, and also has the original Ninja Turtles. And I look over to the front door as I'm trying to drag this giant box in, and my wife's there, and she's just kind of like, surprise. And it was a great surprise. I was very excited. It is awesome. It took a little while to put it together. It's not hard to put together, but just took some time.
Uh huh.
And so now it is in my study, and I play it. Since I work from home, whenever I get a break from work, I'll just wander over there and start playing it.
Man, should I cut that out just in case one of your coworkers listens to
No,
this?
I mean, you're allowed to take breaks at work. You can't just sit at your computer all day and just work nonstop.
Yeah, that's true. But dude, that's awesome. Did y'all finish like the game, or did y'all
We
just
have
play a
not.
little?
We just played through and beat Baxter Stockman, and then it was kind of late, so I was like, we should go to bed. But one of these days we'll stay up and beat the original arcade version, and then beat Turtles in Time.
Oh, so it's got both.
It has both, yes.
And by the way, I don't think we mentioned this last week, but oh, maybe we did. What did you also recently buy?
Um,
Last Ronin related.
oh, I got that last Ronin statue pre-ordered from Big Bad Toy Store.
Uh huh.
It is a beautiful looking statue. It is
Yeah.
not as expensive as that $1,000 plus statue that I saw before,
Yeah.
thankfully. But
But
it should come in August, hopefully, and I'm sure by the time it gets here, we'll be done with our Ninja Turtles, but we should have other topics to talk about. I also do have the Power Rangers Ninja Turtle crossover figures.
Ooh,
I'm still waiting on my Green Ranger Shredder. That hasn't
okay.
come out for me yet. I think it's available in Asia right now, but stateside, I have not seen anyone have it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun. I'm also waiting on the NECA Monsters Ninja Turtle cross or kind of crossover thing.
Uh-huh.
It's Raphael as Frankenstein's monster.
What other turtles do they have for that one?
So Leonardo is Igor.
Did you get that?
I have that pre-ordered.
Okay.
Michelangelo is supposed to be the Mummy, and April will be Bride of Frankenstein. But those two haven't come up for pre-order yet.
Oh, okay. And then
And
weren't you waiting on a NECA signed by Judith Hogue, like that one?
yeah, I did get that one. She didn't sign the figure, but she signed the little April press pass. So I have that. It's the signature edition of the April O'Neil Ultimate figure from NECA. So I do have that one.
Oh, it already came in?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. All right, well, all you folks out there, thanks for tuning in. But yeah, you guys definitely know that if you have any questions on the turtles, Andrew's your guy because he just buys a bunch of action figure wise. I'll specify there. But yeah, Andrew definitely has a lot of Ninja Turtle knowledge. That's for sure.
Yeah, my brain just soaks up random facts about things that most people are not impressed by. And so this is one of them.
And yeah, so for next episode, folks, make sure to get issue number 2 if you haven't already. And we're going to continue this journey on the Last Ronin all the way up to issue 5. And then we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be talking to you later.
Yep. Stay safe and turtle power.
Turtle Power. See you later. Oh, should we try Cowabunga?
No.
All right, bye.
Bye.